Today's lesson is called Art or Not, Street Art and the Rise of Banksy. Day 2. Hi everyone, my name is Jeff.
I'm Roger. Today we're going to continue talking about street art, especially street art by the artist known as Banksy. This person is anonymous. It could be one person. It could be a group of people. We don't really know. Some people think it's a certain person in England. They seem to think it follows the path of a famous band there, Massive Attack. Wherever they go, the graffiti appears, so they think it must be a member of the band. Some people have got some theories as to who it is, but up until now, at the time of our recording of this program, nobody really is sure who Banksy is.
Banksy is anonymous. Is it a he? Is it a she? Is it a group of people? We just don't know. The true identity of this person or of this group of people is unknown to us. But one thing is for certain, before Banksy came along, street art wasn't really considered high art or fine art. Sure, there were examples of some crossover artists back in the day. People like Jean-Michel Basquiat or Keith Haring. These were street artists, graffiti artists who kind of crossed over and became fine artists. But yeah, those were few and far between before Banksy came along. Yeah, Banksy is now one of the great artists on planet Earth, one of the best artists on planet Earth, and yeah, he's totally, or she or it, is totally a street artist. So yes, if ideas, and notions about street art have changed, it's principally because of this person, Banksy, or this group of people, Banksy, okay? People think of street art as being great, high art because of this character and this character alone for the most part. All right, folks, with that, it is time for us to take a short break, but don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
Besides questioning traditional ideas of art, Banksy examines the effects of capitalism and war. In the mural Slave Labor, they portray a child sewing British flags to protest the use of sweatshops to make souvenirs for public celebrations.
大家好，今天第一个单字我们看到的是 capitalism。这个字当作名词，代表资本主义的意思。例如 In capitalism, prices of goods are usually determined by the free market. 在资本主义中，商品的价格通常是由自由市场所决定的。接下来我们看到的单字是 souvenir， 这个字当作名词，它有纪念品的意思。所以我们可以说 I bought a small painting as a souvenir from my trip. 我买了一小幅画作作为旅行的纪念品。再来我们看到的单字是 celebration， 这个字当作名词，代表庆祝活动、庆典的意思。例如We had a celebration at work when we finished the big project. 我们完成大企划时，在办公室办了一场庆祝会。
All right, everybody, let's continue talking about Banksy, whoever this person is or persons are. Now, besides questioning traditional ideas of art, Banksy examines the effects of capitalism and war. So remember last time we talked about Banksy questioning traditional ideas of art, raising some questions. Do we always have to paint the way that people in the past have painted? Do we always have to imitate Picasso and Monet and people like that? Or can we come up with our own ideas and some new radical modern ideas? So indeed, he is questioning traditional ideas of art, but also Banksy examines the effects of capitalism and war. What kind of effects these things have on society. Capitalism is a political and economic system in which basically private individuals generate commerce. They create jobs and sell services and goods and things like that, as opposed to socialism and communism.
Yeah, capitalism is a philosophy that states that people, rather than the government, should own property privately and should be in control control the economy of their country. Yeah, capitalism calls for free markets and not ones that have been planned by governments. And yeah, capitalism, there are a lot of good things to be said about capitalism and a lot of criticisms to be had there as well. There are bad things to say about capitalism, and yeah, Banksy apparently is not a fan of capitalism in his art. He, she, or it definitely examines the effect of capitalism and war, or should I say, they examine the effect of capitalism.
Okay, so let's go on to the next sentence here and talk about a mural. So in the mural, Slave Labor, they portray a child sewing British flags to protest the use of sweatshops to make souvenirs for public celebrations. So this is an example of Banksy questioning the effects of capitalism. This is a mural, which is basically a large painting on a wall, a mural, and it's entitled Slave Labor. So Banksy portrays a child sewing those British flags, which of course is the Union Jack with all those red and white stripes in front of a blue background, the Union Jack, the Union flag, etc. They are sewing British flags because, well, here this painting is designed to protest the use of sweatshops to make these souvenirs for public celebrations. Now, a sweatshop, of course, is a place where people work, and they work really hard. They work for very long hours, and they get paid very little. They exploit the workers. It's probably illegal in a lot of places, and sweatshops, of course, are all over the place. And they are using sweatshops to make these souvenirs for public celebrations. So if they're celebrating, say, the Queen's birthday in England or something like that, then they're going to have everybody waving British flags during the parade. And those are kind of like souvenirs, which, of course, is something you buy to remember a certain occasion, to remember a trip somewhere.
Yeah, that's usually what a souvenir is. A souvenir is something that you buy while traveling. Yeah, souvenirs help you remember your trip or are things that you give to friends and family when you return from your trip. Here, though, these souvenirs are just things that have been made in sweatshops, apparently, that help people celebrate things in public, or they're used in the midst of public celebrations. Now, here we've got the word celebration to talk about. The verb is celebrate. The noun is celebration. Yes, celebration. When we're talking about celebrations, we're talking about the act of celebrating. It's the act of expressing your happiness due to success or something like that. Or it's the act of expressing your happiness on a special day. That's all there is to it. Now, more on sweatshops. Sweatshops are not a good thing. Here, this word sweatshop, it even sounds bad. It sounds like a workshop where you go to sweat. Otherwise, yeah, if you go to a workshop, you go there to make things, to craft things. It sounds like a great place. A sweatshop sounds terrible. That's because sweatshops are terrible. Sweatshops are factories in which people work long, long hours for very little pay to make stuff, okay? To make stuff like souvenirs and clothing and things like that.
Okay, everybody, let's move on now to the next portion of our lesson. We're going to listen first.
In 2015, Banksy traveled to Gaza, where they painted a cat on the remains of a house that had been bombed by Israeli soldiers. I wanted to highlight the destruction in Gaza by posting photos on my website, Banksy explained, but on the internet, people only look at pictures of kittens. They also made a satirical video advertising Gaza as a vacation spot. Called Make This the Year You Discover a New Destination, the video reveals Palestinians' brutal living conditions.
第二部分我们看到的单字是 highlight， 这个字当作动词，它有强调、使突出的意思。例如，总统的演说强调刺激就业的必要。英文可以这么说 ：The president's speech highlighted the need for stimulating employment。再来，我们看到的单字是 destruction， 这个字当作名词，它有破坏或是毁灭的意思。所以我们可以说 The earthquake caused destruction in many towns and villages. 这起地震对许多的城镇和村庄造成破坏。接下来我们看到的单字是 brutal. 这个字当作形容词，代表严酷的、苛刻的或是残暴的、直言不讳的意思。例如，矿场工人忍受严酷的环境。英文可以这么说 The mine workers endured brutal conditions.
All right, folks. In 2015, Banksy traveled to Gaza, where they painted a cat on the remains of a house that had been bombed by Israeli soldiers. Now, note the use of the word they here. Remember, Banksy is anonymous, so we have to be very, very careful when we use a pronoun to refer to Banksy. We don't know. Is Banksy a guy? Is it a gal? Is it a group of people? We just don't know, so we're not going to be presumptuous. So use this word they, and you can't go wrong. How about that for some good modern pronoun usage, Roger?
Indeed, and a lot of people these days are using the word they as a singular pronoun to refer to a person in which we do not know the gender. Okay, so Banksy painted a cat on the remains or the leftover portions of a house that had been bombed by soldiers from Israel. So they painted a cat there on that bombed out house in Gaza. And here's what they said. I wanted to highlight the destruction in Gaza by posting photos on my website, Banksy explained. Okay, so Banksy here is talking in the first person. This is what I wanted to do to highlight that destruction. To highlight here just means to emphasize, to point out, to especially mention something so that people pay more attention to that. To highlight that destruction. Destruction just means to the process in which something is destroyed. It's damaged and it can no longer really be used anymore.
Yeah. Destruction, the act or process of completely ruining something, or the act or process of completely destroying something or devastating something. And yeah, apparently, this is kind of funny. Banksy said, yeah, I wanted to highlight or to showcase or to make prominent the destruction in Gaza by posting photos on his website or her website. And there I made that same mistake again. I should be careful when using pronouns. Yes, okay, Banksy says that they wanted to highlight or showcase or to make prominent the destruction in Gaza by posting photos on their website. But on the internet, people only look at pictures of kittens, and there's that dry sense of humor. Yes, the pictures in Gaza should have spoken loudly enough. After all, pictures speak or say 1,000 words, but sadly, people don't look at real pictures when they're on the internet. People only look at pictures of kittens. And yes, this much is true. I don't really look at pictures of Gaza or war zones, I should say, very often when I'm on the internet, but I have seen tons of pictures of kittens while on the internet, so this is kind of true.
People are posting videos of cute kittens on Facebook all the time. Oh, there's a kitten chasing after a beam of light. Isn't that cute, etc. So, of course, lots of people see kittens or cats on the internet, so that's why Banksy painted a cat on the remains of a bombed-out house. Now, let's go on here to the next sentence. It says, they also made a satirical video advertising Gaza as a vacation spot. So that's satirical. It's using satire, which means you basically make fun of something. You exaggerate in order to be humorous or to make a point. Satire. So yes, indeed, very few people would think of going to the Gaza Strip on their honeymoon or on a vacation. So he's kind of being sarcastic here. He's using this as satire, a video saying that you should go to Gaza on your next vacation, or go to Syria or someplace like that as well.
There you go. Satirical, that's the adjective. Satire is the noun. Satirical means using satire, and very simply, satire is a form of art or expression in which people use humor, or they make use of humor to show and to make fun of people, especially politicians, and situations like that you can see there in Gaza. Unfair situations where, yeah, one party kind of gets all the benefit of the doubt and the other doesn't get any representation whatsoever. Yes, very often Israelis kind of escape any type of punishment for their treatment of people in Palestine and in the Gaza Strip and stuff like that, whereas Palestinians get no voice whatsoever. Anyways, called Make This the Year You Discover a New Destination, the video reveals Palestinians' brutal living conditions. So yeah, here's the satire in play.
Yes, indeed. Brutal here usually means involving a lot of violence. The county magistrate was brutally murdered. for example. But here, brutal living conditions just means, yes, they experience lots of violence and they have poor living conditions as well. Okay, everybody, let's move on now to the third and final portion of our lesson for today.
Another powerful work of Banksy's is The Son of a Migrant from Syria. Produced at the height of the European migrant crisis, the mural portrays late Apple co-founder Steve Jobs, the son of a Syrian migrant, as a traveling migrant. With this work, Banksy reminded people that migrants can benefit rather than hurt a country's economy. Just look at Steve Jobs and Apple. Regardless of their fame, Banksy technically remains a lawbreaker due to the illegal nature of street art. Still, no one knows when or where they'll strike next. Just one more reason their work is so interesting.
第三部分我们看到的单字是 migrant， 这个字当作名词，它有为工作而移居的移民、移居者或是迁徙动物的意思。所以我们可以说 Many migrants in Taiwan have difficulty seeking for job. 许多移居者很难在台湾找到工作。今天最后一个单字我们看到的是 economy， 这个字当作名词，它有经济或是经济制度的意思。例如 The economy of the seaside town depends mainly on tourism. 这座滨海小镇的经济主要仰赖观光业。
Another powerful work of Banksy's is The Son of a Migrant from Syria. And yeah, I'm going to kind of spoil things right now. Yeah, the son of a migrant from Syria, that son, that person that Banksy is alluding to, is Steve Jobs. Yeah, here the migrant isn't Steve Jobs, but the son of the migrant is Steve Jobs. How about that? Now, let's talk about the word migrant right now. A migrant is a person who has moved away from or out of their home country in order to settle somewhere else. Now, an immigrant, on the other hand, is someone who has moved into a country after leaving their home country.
Right. We've heard about migrant workers within the United States. People from poor parts of the United States go to more affluent parts of the country to do agricultural work or something like that. Those are migrant workers. But this particular work of art is entitled The Son of a Migrant from Syria, which, of course, has had a civil war going on for many years now. Produced at the height of the European migrant crisis, the mural portrays late Apple co-founder Steve Jobs, the son of a Syrian migrant, as a traveling migrant. Okay, so I did not know that about Steve Jobs. I guess he's the son of a migrant from Syria, somebody who left Syria as a refugee seeking refuge someplace else or immigrating perhaps to the United States. And then that person's son went off to found Apple. He was a co-founder, which means he founded or established that company with something else. In any case, it portrays Steve Jobs as a traveling migrant, so we wouldn't think of Steve Jobs as being something like that, but yes, maybe he's like a migrant worker, really poor, moving from place to place to earn a few dollars here and there.
There you go with this work. Banksy reminded people that migrants can benefit rather than hurt a country's economy. Just look at Steve Jobs and Apple. Yeah, remember, Steve Jobs is the son of a migrant from Syria. So if you want to say migrants are bad or immigrants are bad, check yourself. Yeah, even Steve Jobs was the son of a migrant. So think about that for a while. Anyways, before we go ahead and move on to the conclusion of our article, let's talk about the word economy right now. When we're talking about the economy of a place, we're talking about the business environment of that place.
Yep, the wealth and resources of a country, the production of goods and services, etc., that's all stuff that have to do with the economy. Okay, let's move on now to the final paragraph here. It says, regardless of their fame, no matter what kind of fame they have, Banksy technically remains a lawbreaker due to the illegal nature of street art. A lawbreaker is someone who breaks the law, a criminal, basically. So yes, indeed, this person or these people are painting works of art in public places without permission. So technically speaking, they are lawbreakers.
Yeah, Banksy is a lawbreaker. Still, nothing is going to stop them. Still, no one knows when or where they'll strike next. Just one more reason their work is so interesting. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to end our lesson, but don't worry, the Chinese teacher is coming up next.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天文法重点。课文第3部分介绍到班克西另一个充满力量的作品，来自叙利亚的移民之子。他说 Produced at the height of the European migrant crisis, the mural portrays late Apple co-founder Steve Jobs, the son of a Syrian migrant, as a traveling migrant.这幅壁画创作于欧洲移民危机最严重的时候，将已故的苹果公司共同创办人史蒂夫·贾伯斯，叙利亚移民之子，描绘成行进中的移民。好，这个句子它有使用到分词构句的句型，前半句的 produced， 它的之前就是省略相同主词 the mural 以及 being。好，那这边再来看一个重点是 at the height of什么什么的用法。 height 除了指高度，也可以指顶点或是巅峰。 at the height of something 就表示在什么的巅峰、顶峰或是鼎盛时期。像我们说 at the height of one's fame 就表示名声如日中天的时期，也就是最有名的时候。好，再补充一下 migrant 它的相关词性。 migrant 是名词，就是指移民啊、移居者或者是迁徙的动物。那这个字呢，它是来自动词 migrate。 migrate 是动词，表示迁徙、移居。那它的名词是 migration， 也是指迁徙移居。好，那重点是我们可以在这3个单字的前方加上 I am 或者是加上 e 来表达到底是迁入还是迁出。 I am 它有进入的意思，所以 immigrate 这个动词就表示从外地迁入。 immigrant 就表示从外地迁入的移民。 immigration 这个名词就表示移民或是入境。至于字首 e 有向外的意思，所以 emigrate 这个动词就是指从本地迁出。 emigrant 就表示从本地迁出啊，移居他国的移民。 emigration 就表示移居、移民出境。好，接下来我们读到课文最后一个段落，他说 Regardless of their fame, Banksy technically remains a lawbreaker due to the illegal nature of street art. 由于街头艺术非法的本质，不管它名气如何，严格来说，班克西仍然违法。好，这边来介绍一个重点是 regardless of， 它表示不管怎么样，不顾怎么样。Regardless of 它是片语介系词，后面我们可以接名词啊、动名词或者是名词子句。那这部分你还可以摆在主要子句的前面或是后面都可以。举例来说 He jogs every morning regardless of the weather. 不管天气怎么样，他每天早上都会去慢跑。Regardless of whether it's raining now, he's going jogging. 不管现在是否在下雨，他都要去慢跑。好，再补充一下Due to 是片语介系词，它表示因为、由于，那意思就跟 because of 或者是 owing to 是一样的。我们后面都可以接名词或动名词，只是有2个重点要特别注意，一个是 due to 跟 because of 可以摆在 be 动词的后方，但是 owing to 是不行的。第2个重点 due to 和 owing to 的用法比较正式哦。例如 The accident was mainly due to his carelessness. 这场交通意外事故主要是因为他粗心大意。好，以上是今天的重点整理，我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Capitalism. Most of the world's most powerful countries follow a system of capitalism. Souvenir. We bought a ton of souvenirs during our trip to France. Celebration.Wow, you got an A in every class? This calls for a celebration. Highlight. The film highlights the positive long-term effects of regular exercise. Destruction. The destruction in the city was considerable at the end of the Civil War. Brutal. Their brutal words deeply damaged the young girl's self-confidence. Migrant. Many migrants need help settling into their new home if the culture is very different.Economy. The town's economy was negatively impacted when most of its crops were ruined.
Discussion starter starts now!
Time now, everybody, for our discussion starter for today. Here comes the question. Do you consider Banksy a true artist? Why or why not?
Yes, I think they are a true artist because, one, they're probably the best living artist on the face of the earth right now. And if that person or that entity is not a true artist, I don't know what is. But further, I also think that true artists need to take a definite political position and they need to question authority. And Banksy does both of these things in droves.
Well, no, I don't think they are a true artist because they are criminals. They are vandals. And they should be thrown in jail for defacing public property.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.